Hello, YouTube viewers. Listen to me. The times when the times that we are tempted the most, the times when we are tempted the most, are when we could have reason to get back at somebody and or do wrong. In the book of Genesis, Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery. And at the end of 20 years or so, his brothers came to Egypt to buy food for their family, because in Israel they were having a famine. And when they came to buy food, from Egypt, at that time that they came to buy food from Egypt, their brother, who they sold into slavery, is the man that they had to see to buy food. Joseph, their brother Joseph, that they sold into slavery, he was the ruler of Egypt in that day. He was the assistant to Pharaoh of Egypt in that day. Their brother, whom they sold into slavery, was the assistant ruler of Egypt in that day. In that day, he was Pharaoh's personal assistant. Their own brother, whom they sold into slavery, was the assistant to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, in the day when Joseph's brother came to buy food from Egypt. Their own brother, whom they sold into slavery, was the one that they had to see to buy food from. Now, if anybody could find reason to not sell them that food, Joseph was the one to do it. If anybody could find reason to not do good to somebody because that person did them wrong in the past, Joseph was the one who had reason to not sell his brother's food, because they took him from his father, who loved him dearly. But if you have read that book before, you know in the end that Joseph sold them food. He had all of his family brought to Egypt for the first time. He said to his brothers, Joseph said to his brothers who sold him into Egypt, he said unto his brothers, the exact same brothers who sold him into Egyptian slavery, he said to them, my brothers, what you did to me, you meant for evil, you meant for harm, but I will take care of you. Go get your wives, children, and my father, and I will take care of you here in Egypt. He says, I will send my horses, my chariots, and everything I have with food, and I will send men with you to help you back to Egypt. But yet, they were the ones who sold him into slavery. They were the ones who wanted him killed. But yet, the exact same brother that they wanted to harm was the one who did the greatest good for them years after they had done that harm to him. He said, I will treat my brothers good despite what they have done to me. Joseph said, I will treat my brothers good despite what they did to me. So, even though they sold him into slavery, he treated them good. Now listen. Matthew 6 says one of the things that we should pray for on a regular basis is that we won't yield to temptation. And Matthew 7 says, ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, knock and the door shall be opened unto you. And Matthew 22 says, one of the two greatest and most important commandments is to love your neighbor as yourself. And Mark 11 says, if you have faith as small as a grain of mustard seed, you shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed and cast into the sea, and your command will be obeyed. But when you are praying, first forgive anyone who has offended, ticked you, got on your nerves, ticked you off, got on your nerves, or made you mad. When you are praying, first forgive anyone you have anything against at all. And First Peter 5 says, give all your worries and cares to the Lord, for he cares about what happens to you. So listen to me, YouTube viewers. Whenever you are tempted to do wrong to somebody, read every passage that I have mentioned in this video. But I don't know where the passages are that I told you about Joseph and his brothers, but I do know that they are in the book of Genesis. I do know, and I can tell you that they are in the book of Genesis. But other than that, I don't know where the part about Joseph seeing his brothers in Egypt is. Other than that, it's in the last part of the book of Genesis. I can't tell you any more other than that about where the part of Joseph seeing his brothers in Egypt is. But listen to me. He did that much harm to, his brothers did that much harm to him. What I meant to say was, his brothers sold him into slavery, hoping that he would be killed or at least hurt. But after he was sold into slavery by his brothers, he is the one who did the most good for his brothers after they were the ones who sold him into slavery. So Matthew 22 says, love your neighbor as yourself is one of the two greatest and most important commandments. Matthew 7 says, ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, knock and the door shall be opened unto you. Ask the Lord for a love for others. But keep in mind, in Matthew chapter 7 and in Mark chapter 11, it says, if you refuse to forgive those who have sinned against you, made you mad, ticked you off, made you want to cuss, or offended you, if you refuse to forgive anyone for any reason, your Father will not forgive you of your sins. So listen, first, loose and forgive everybody who has offended you, ticked you off, made you mad, sinned against you, made you want to cuss, or got on your nerves. Forgive everybody who has sinned against you or bothered you in any shape, form, or fashion, and for any reason. And after you do that, ask Him for a love for others. And I truly do hope this video helps you. If it does, please let me know in the comments below, and please like, share, and subscribe too. And one other thing, since this video is so important, this is also a safe video point. This video is also a safe video point. Thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe.